Yo, JD here, and as you can see, we are back once again with some iRacing, and I don't usually like to do this, but it's going to be the same track twice in a row from my last video, but this time we are racing in the fixed Super Formula Lights, which means no one else has a setup, everyone is running exactly the same thing, and the only thing you can really change, I think, is just the camera HUD and the brake bias and stuff like that as well. So I did quite a few races in between my last video and this one you're seeing now, and I think I did like a 36.0 as my best qualifying lap when I decided for some reason to join a setup enabled lobby with some quite good people. This lobby seems pretty strong as well, but I actually feel very, very good in this car, and I think I've actually improved quite significantly since last time. Also, no one is allowed to run setups here, so it's a complete equal playing field. So let's see how I do now when I'm going against that kind of playing field. And you can see this is my first lap in a qualifying, so you get 2 laps, or 2 laps within the time period that you can do, 2 valid laps. And again, I think we did a 36.0 when I did last time. I think that can change depending on the track temperature, air temperature, things like that, but it won't be a million miles away. And I think this actually might have been on the same day as I did my last video as well. As you can see, you do not want to be hitting that curb because that will very quickly be spitting you out into the wall, but we managed to just survive. So this is our first lap. I like to take it a little bit easy on the first lap, and then when the tyres are warmed up a little bit, really go for it on the second one. In my first video, I think I spun out on turn 1 of my first lap, which definitely wasn't ideal. Coming across the line here, what is this going to be? That is going to be a 35.3, which currently puts me on provisional pole. So that's about 7/10 faster than I did in the first video. But you can see, coming off turn 1, we actually get a pretty poor run, and I was still down a lap until this section. You can see last lap we weren't this curb. This time we avoid it, and you can see we've actually just gained a 10th straight away. So just those really small things make a huge difference. Only issue of this lap is that the exit turn 1, I just got a really poor run. I lost about a 10th, and I was carrying that momentum all the way down the straight. And you can see we only are just barely up. We're going to improve this lap by 0.02 or 0.03, and this guy just pips me, does a 35.2. And yeah, we do another 0.3, so very consistent. In the end, that was enough for P4, as the guy on pole did a 34.9, so it's just very strong. But we were very close to becoming second. So as a lights guy now, trying to get a good start, and this time don't really get an incredible start. And yeah, we're already down into 5th place, and then yeah, still in 5th place. Actually even make that 6th with the cars ahead of me. So not an ideal start here, but I think what I tended to be good at in these lobbies, I noticed that I was very good on cold tyres and just managing your tyres in general. And on the first lap, I think a lot of people were trying to drive like qualifying in terms of the grip, but the tyres were simply not heated up. But you can see now, since everyone's got the same setup, look how much more powerful the slipstream is. So you should see how much we were losing in that first video. So everyone here, you can see they're really washing out wide, so they are not used to these cold tyres. That's something I was able to really just deal with quite well. I did that in my first video where I went from P10 to like P6 on lap 1, really because everyone was not really just adjusting to the grip levels. So I knew at this stage, this is my opportunity to make some inroads, and I really wanted to win a race in this series. I haven't won a race in iRacing since I've returned back into it yet. So the guy who was really fast, he is in 3rd, and now he's behind me, so he's made a bit of a mistake. And that's, again, something I was noticing when I've been doing these lobbies, is very much the same as what I do on F1, where there's some people who are very fast at the qualifying, but driving in a race is almost a different skill set entirely. Obviously the raw pace helps, but you have to be able to be consistent. You have to be able to manage the grip that's changing, forever changing, dealing with cold tyres, when the tyres wear down, things like that as well. So that's something is a little bit more of my strengths, is definitely when it comes to race trim. You can see the pole sitter is, I think he's ahead of me. So yeah, the pole sitter who did that 34.5. You see, look at the slipstream this time. So all equal cars here, all equal setups. You can see that's how powerful it is. So I was really trying to stay in second here because the guy in the lead, I think we do have the ability to catch him because he was always going 3 wide at the end of the straight, and we just about come out top. They both wash out wide, and now it is game on. Can I catch this guy to fight for the win in this race? And I was just super determined. You can see not leaving any track available there. And I think we're going to stay on board for the next lap or so because I was pushing very hard. And when it came to the last lobby, the first race, it seemed to be about 7 to 6 tenths you needed to be within in order to get the slipstream. And I can confirm from this race here, I don't know if things changed, but you had to be within 6 tenths, about half a second, to get that slipstream effect. So in other cars, depending on the speed and the aerodynamics, you could be this kind of distance and actually get a toe effect. In this car, or in this race at least, that wasn't the case. You needed to be within about 6 tenths in order to really start getting that toe effect. So we are kind of protective of the car behind, but we just need to get another 2 or 3 tenths, and then we could really hang on to him, and then it was game on. And so right now I am pushing as hard as I can. You can see, if you look at the delta or the gaps, it's not going to really be changing at all. So just confirming that the car behind isn't really within the slipstream zone, and I'm not within the toe zone of the car ahead as well. But yeah, again, I think it's just those first couple of laps. A lot of people really struggle with the cold tyres on iRacing, and that's something I'm able to deal with pretty well. I think it's just my natural driving style. I'm always pretty good at kind of adapting to things. So not the raw pace, but just being able to make those micro adjustments in real time, really feel the tyres, feel the grip. That's something I feel is definitely one of my strengths. You can see here now we are really pushing hard, much as possible. So we are pulling away slightly from the guys behind. Pole Sitter is in P4, so he's struggling quite a bit in this race as well. And the guys behind, they're actually quite a bit higher in the I rating. They're all 3k and above. The guy in 5th is on almost 4k I rating, so this was actually quite a fairly competitive lobby. Strength of field is 2.4k. You can see at the bottom right hand side. You can see right now me and Adam Williams up ahead. We are literally driving exactly the same right now. And I think there were certain sections of the track he was stronger than. There are certain sections I was, you can see he sets the fastest lap, and we are about 12 hundredths of a second slower than him over a 90 plus second lap. So that just shows how close it is right now. But all we need is just to keep on applying this pressure, and I think my consistency, again, you don't have to be the outright fastest, but if you can deliver a 9 out of 10 lap every time, that consistency is just going to add pressure. You can see over time we were just pushing and pushing, just doing those same laps over and over again. So I think his raw pace was a little bit faster, but we were just more consistent. And that's why, again, you don't have to be the outright fastest driver, but if you can be the most consistent driver, that can really help you win races as well. And you can see we are getting very close to that toe zone now, and you can see it gets a little bit of a better exit coming for this turn 1. But then on the next lap, we are within that 6 tenths, so not quite within the toe zone. You can see 1.5 seconds to the pole sitter behind, who we are just edging away from ever so slightly. You can see again, we've both done a 34.9 and he's done a 35.0, so it's very close in lap times between the top 5, but we are just being that little bit more consistent. But right now, this is the section of track where it's really strong, and now within that toe zone, and you're about to see we are going to be gaining so much time in the slipstream. So going to this corner, I felt this was a little bit of a weakness of mine. I actually brake quite early through here, but through this last section, this is where I feel I am particularly strong. So he hits the apex really early, washes himself out wide, and you can see 3 tenths of a second behind now. And you're about to see we are well and truly within that slipstream zone. And you will just see how powerful it is, again, when you're running equal cars, fixed setups. So I'm actually going out the toe here because I don't want to get up behind him too quickly. I want to leave a little bit of a gap and exit this turn 1. And now ideally get him at the end of the straight, because The slipstream is so powerful in these cars, if you actually overtake them too early, they could actually just slipstream right back past you. And you're about to see here now. So we're 4/10 of a second behind. But look at the power of the slipstream. It is just absolutely insane. So there's no DRS in these cars, no ERS or anything like that. It is purely slipstream. He decides to defend, which obviously he's entitled to do. But for me personally, if I was in his position, I would just be trying to stop us losing time, because the guys behind are under 2 seconds behind. So if we keep on fighting here, that's going to allow another couple of cars to get back into the mix. So we get the move done. So just went around the outside pretty nicely. And again, the slipstream is so strong in these cars, and our pace is pretty equal in pace. I don't think I'm really going to be able to get away from him unless he makes like a big mistake, because if I get that, there's no way. But you could already see the guy in P3, he's actually gained 3/10 on us purely because we were going side by side. So if I was that Adam Williams, I think I would just be, not really fighting too hard. So I think this is an example here. So he gets a good run on me going to here. So I could easily just keep it side by side if I want to. But at the end of a straight, you'll see I do a little bit of a lift, let him get back on the race line, just to avoid us losing as much time as possible. Because you can see Mark in P3 is actually catching up quite quickly. So again, go do a slipstream here. So I was really hoping he would just allow me to get past, and he would just slot behind, and then we won't be losing so much time. But you can see now he decides to go for an overtake again. So he goes back past me. If you look at the delta to P3, because of this, look how much time we're losing in the corners. You can see we've lost about almost 4/10 of a second just by doing that. So I didn't think Adam was being particularly smart in how he was navigating this race. Again, of course, he's allowed to defend, but I think you want to try and avoid making this a freeway. And again, he doesn't lift off the throttle. And yeah, we are just both losing time. You'll see the delta again to Mark. He actually closes in a couple of attempts, or even 3 attempts, just going through that section. So yeah, if that's the way Adam wanted to defend and navigate this race, that's obviously completely fine, down to him. But yeah, I think sometimes it's just about being smarter and harder. So going into here, I'm going to just let him have this, try and avoid losing as much time as possible. But now Mark, the pole sitter, because of this, he is actually caught up now. And now it's a 3-way fight instead of a 2-way fight, which always is going to complicate things. But coming over to here, Adam makes a big mistake. So he's really kind of losing a little bit in the lead. And I think we're going on to the last lap on this next one here now. So yeah, it's all about being in the right position. You can see we're just trying to lift off a little bit. I don't want to be too close, because if I'm too close, then he's going to go right back past me. So last lap coming up here, and he's playing a little bit of chicken with the slipstream effect here. So you can see we're doing a little bit of some lifting here, going to turn 1, taking the inside line, and he gets caught on the curb and then spins out, losing the car completely. And that's something we'll have to watch back. Let me know what you think of that, because I will be showing the replay. And that has enabled us to get into the lead. We've got a 0.7 gap to Mark, which we then extend, so he wasn't within that slipstream zone. So coming around the last corner, we take our first win back on iRacing, albeit in a controversial way, but we will take a little look at the replay. Let me know your thoughts, but I will give you my opinion as well. But yeah, very happy with that. And again, qualifying pace, we could definitely work on that a little bit, but the race pace and the consistency, that's why I really think iRacing is actually going to suit me very well. So if we go to the replay of this last lap, so I'm going down the inside here, both playing a little bit of chicken, and yeah, he just goes on that curb. So yeah, I felt pretty bad, actually. Honestly, I do feel I'm partly at fault there. Could I have given him more room? But yeah, if we look how far alongside he was, plus you got to remember this is going into the last lap, fighting for the win of the race as well. So going into here, I'm going down the inside, and yeah, play a little bit of chicken here. And yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think. I do feel really bad for him. I was going to apologise to him, but he just then left the session. But yeah, I feel last lap, playing a bit of chicken. I decided to put my foot in then, and I was in the lead. And then, yeah, he tries to hold around the outside. But was it harsh? You let me know. But yeah, because of that, we increased our iRating, got to increase our safety rating, and now we are at 2.7k on the road to 3k now. But that is my first win in iRacing. Again, shows you don't just need the raw speed, it's also the consistency as well. But please let me know your thoughts, like the video if you enjoyed, and I will catch you very, very soon. Peace.